You're watching the RSS with myself, Rashid Saleh, and of course with Jason Sim, the Kuchingite. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and press the notification on our channel because we need as many subscribers as we can get.
Yeah.
It's already October, and we're on our 16th episode, which is really cool. We're still on double figures. We're gonna go for that triple figure soon enough, and you never know. Anyway, so it's this is October, and we are going towards the end of the year. It's a holiday season. There's a lot of things going on. People are probably going to start counting down on the 100 days till Christmas, blah blah blah, and it's going to be until the end of the year. And of course, a couple of things have been going on. The ringgit is stronger.
Yeah.
People now say they can it's better to go on holiday now. Of course, it's a bit harder for us to travel out because even though the ringgit is stronger, the prices of our tickets to get into just to West Malaysia is expensive. I mean, I myself am traveling at least twice this month for work and stuff, and I'm already thinking, and my crew and my staff, and we have to think twice about the flights and when to book it because it affects us. But the many things going on, especially from October onwards, because it's something that people are always thinking about. I mean, for yourself, in terms of your planning for your holiday, where are you, or when have you started thinking about it? Because usually people plan quite early in the year, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I try to travel as much as I can. So twice, every 2 months.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, there's like a Southeast Asia run, maybe, of course, Thailand, Philippines.
Why Thailand?
Food.
Okay.
Food, yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, the baht, is in a... I'll be going to Tokyo in November.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, because this is, probably the strongest that the ringgit has been against the yen in a long time. So, yeah, I thought, why not? And I haven't been there before, so...
I have never been to Japan, so I'm going to live through your vicariously.
But yeah, I mean, I try to do every 2 months around Southeast Asia. Yeah, I know people have been complaining, like you see on the news, that Malaysians, they've been pouring billions into Thailand's economy every holiday. But can you blame them?
No, I won't blame them. I love Thailand. Thailand's a great country for many things. I mean, even for the fight scene, Thailand. A lot of the world champions from UFC and One Championship train there, especially in Phuket. They have, and it's great for them. And of course, entertainment, and the Thais are generally very, very, very nice people. I've got a lot of friends from
Are you much of a traveler these days?
These days not so much because I'm too much for homeboy nowadays. But when I was younger, I traveled a lot. I mean, especially for work, I traveled all over, and I love traveling. And even when I was, I talk about when I'm, before even I was married and had children, I was always traveling for work, and I traveled extensively around the world. Not as many as I could have, but lived in a lot of hotels.
Yeah.
But I got to enjoy a lot of different cultures, which is something that I always encourage people to do because, especially those days where obviously our ringgit was quite strong, so it was easy for us to be able to travel around. And I do believe that Malaysians as a whole, I think, as much as we talk about how some people are insular and all that, we as a nation are quite well traveled. People as well, especially Sarawakians. I see Sarawakians everywhere. When I was living in Timor, some of the Chinese restaurants were owned by not just Sarawakians, Fuchao Sarawakians. And that's amazing. So yeah, we do travel a lot.
When you see that situation, it was on the news on the Malaysia Day weekend, where there was an exodus of Malaysians going to Thailand, right? I mean, do you see that as, I mean, there's something normal, there's something that just shows that, you know, we have increased mobility, or do you see that as like a wake-up call for like our domestic tourism industry? It's like, you know, we have to improve our offerings, because yeah, I've heard two arguments to that news.
Well, I do think, I mean, this is obviously personal opinion, I do think it's a bit of both. Yeah, it is almost, for some people, it's a yearly pilgrimage during the public holidays. Especially, you know, the first thing we do when we see the calendar for next year is, where's the long holiday?
Yeah.
Irrespective of what it is, whether it's Malaysia Day, whether it's Sarawak Day, whether it's, you know, it's Gawa, I think, you always tend to look for the days that we can get away as much as we can, because for especially those working in the corporate sector, the 9 to 5s, they want to maximize as much and minimize the amount of holidays that they can, you know, official holiday days that they can take off.
Yeah.
So it's understandable, you know, Thailand's not too far away. For some of us, we like to go to Jakarta, and obviously Thailand. I mean, Vietnam is a bit too far, perhaps. The others are not as good as catering for foreigners as the Thais do, or even the Indonesians.
Yeah.
You know, I can't think of the other countries. I mean, Vietnam. I can't remember as many people have gone to Vietnam as much as people.
I think a lot more these days. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Thais, you know, they've always been good at hospitality. So are we. And I also believe that, you know, East Malaysians, I mean, the Sabahans, they get a lot of Chinese tourists. They get a lot of, I mean, they're great. They get a lot of Korean tourists as well. But I guess you're right also in the sense, in the second part, the question of whether our domestic tourism needs to strengthen. I believe so. Again, if we look at home in Sarawak, we've got so much to offer in terms of how we do it. But I think the thing that lets us down is not because of what the strength of what we have. I think it's because now, which is where I segue into we need more the access into our, so it's about having more airlines coming in, being able to, because everything goes through Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
So whenever you want to come to Sarawak, you have to go through KL. KK gets more domestic direct flights and international flights.
Yeah.
They've been able to do that. Kuching hasn't, because, you know, we get direct flights from Singapore.
Yeah.
But last time we had to go through KL. I remember having to go Singapore, KL, Kuching. When I came back 3 years ago, I was shocked. I was like, we got direct flights from Singapore. When I was working in Singapore, I couldn't even fly to Kuching. You know, this was more than a decade ago, more than a decade ago. So now it's all about, you know, about inbound travel. If we make it easier, it's like anything else. The easier that we make our customers or tourists to be able to come in, it'll be better. We'll have more people coming in. The other, I suppose, factor is, you know, we also have our own immigration. So, you know, for people to come from KL to Sarawak, they still have to go through immigration as well, which is something I believe that we should keep anyway. But that also serves as another barrier, because it's like, why?
I mean, just on the topic of domestic tourism, right? When you see in West Malaysia the kind of offerings that they have, obviously KL, then you have nearby like Malacca, Ipoh, and then Penang. You know, they have this good mix of like beaches, jungles, food, right? I mean, do you feel? I mean, why would they make that extra 2-hour trip all the way to Sarawak? Do you feel our products are differentiated enough? Like,
no, it's just infrastructure, because they're able to drive there and the roads are smooth and all that. Right now, if you see how much we're traveling a lot more because our roads are better.
yeah.
So it's one thing that we've never been able to experience. I'm not saying we've never been to appreciate because we've never had it.
Yeah.
We're appreciating now the fact that we have good infrastructure from Kuching all the way to Miri. You can actually travel within the day to Miri because the roads are not that bad. I mean, some people still prefer to stop in Cebu or Bintulu or whatever, spend the night and go there because we're so used to it.
Yeah.
Just recently the Prime Minister went to Kapit and they're going to be building a bridge. You look at the map, so it doesn't look big, but you look at how wide our rivers are, and we don't call them sungai. We call them batang because batang is like massive river, and the width of the river, and it costs billions to build a bridge, and that's why. I mean, it's not just about what they have to offer. I think they've always been able to offer. It's just accessibility. We got people driving all the way from Singapore to go to Malacca. It's only 2 hours away because the infrastructure is there. The roads are good. So yeah, people, for us, not us Sarawakians, for us Malaysians, especially West Malaysians, like, I want to go to Perlis. They forget the fact that the roads are good. That's why it's like secondary. It's a what's the word for it? It becomes second nature for them to just go. I want to go to Penang, and I'll drive there. We say that I want to drive to Miri. The first thing say, the road okay or not? They have street lights, highway lights. You can drive at night and be able to. They take that for granted. We can't. For me, I've been living there for so long, I come here, I see that difference. But that's why a lot of people here complain and say we can't have this kind of tourism because we need to build our infrastructure. We need to build the roads. We need to more hotels, and we can talk about how this can benefit us in terms of SEA Games later on. We can talk about that. Now you could say, but how come KK or Sabah as well? They have direct flights to go to Tawa or Lahada. From there, it's not that far. KK, there's stuff going on there. The islands are nearby. We don't have beautiful islands, unfortunately. We've got Damai, but the beaches, just a small stretch, right?
Yeah.
That's all we have. You look at KK, it's different.
So what do you think is our main selling points?
I think in the past we've always tried to go towards more of the ecotourism,
Culture,
nature, Mulu and all that. Yeah. But we also have to remember, what are we looking for? Are we looking for mass tourism? Or are we looking for specific type of tourism that will be a bit more, yes, it may be a bit more expensive, but it's that kind of tourism. Because mass tourism, anyone can do that. Yeah. But what are we looking for? Are we becoming festivals, having our music festivals? That's tourism as well. That's bringing a lot of music kind of tourists into our state, our region.
I mean, you've been in event space for quite a long time, right? How do you see all this explosion of festivals and events in Sarawak? Do you feel it's a good strategy?
It is good if we're making money as a local business for Sarawakians. In a way, we got to look at the numbers at the end of the year and see the data collected from all these festivals and all that. I'm happy because we talked about this, having our we're a lot more liberal in terms of how we do our festivals and stuff. That's why a lot of organizers now are looking in the future to come here and bypassing Kuala Lumpur, for example, because obviously the performers, the audience have a lot more freedom in terms of how we celebrate these festivals. So I guess a lot more will be coming in. So that's probably why this is perception there has been a lot more festivals coming in into Sarawak.
Do you feel like there should be more done?
I mentioned off camera now. There's only 52 weeks in a year, or 53 or whatever, you know, and a lot of that is taken up by different public holidays. You know, I mean, obviously we can still have a festival during you know Malaysia Day or something like that, but you know you're going to be competing with other stuff like, you know, our Sundown, the Oktoberfest. We've got probably sports events as well that are already in here. So many things. But you know what? I was just thinking about it just now. It's like, why not? Why don't we have 52 weeks of just, you know,
all-round festivals,
all-round festivals and stuff going on? Because it'll make us, you know, it will generate a lot of income. However, to be able to do that, I mean, did I just repeat that twice? To be able to do that, we've got to build and strengthen and renovate our current infrastructure. We have to build more hotels, and here's the scary thing. I don't want us to be like a metropolis, like Kuala Lumpur, you know, metropolitan city, because the one thing I loved about coming home was the fact that we are, I'm not saying that we're a sleepy town, but we've got this blend between, you know, being a city and also being still a community, a family community. And that's what's so great about us when people come to Sarawak, that we maintain that. And you know, Kuching, you see, you can't compare it to any other towns in Malaysia. I mean, if you've been to Taiping, yes, it's a lot smaller than we are, and that's like really a place for people to retire. It is. And then Ipoh is a bit more, not as modern as us, but we've got that good blend, and I do feel that we should maintain it, because we don't need to be like the big cities. Of course, we have a lot of land, and of course, you know, but we don't have the I don't think we have the population to be able to go and grow, because there's still a lot of empty, you know, homes around anyway.
Yeah, I mean, have you had any chance to think about the airline? Do you have any thoughts on the new airline?
The costs involved. We've got to be really realistic about running an airline. Is not easy. I mean, you've already seen now with AirAsia and how Tony Fernandez and obviously our national airline, and we're very ambitious in the sense of wanting to have the airline and keeping costs low. But one thing that we know is, you know, airlines and planes need jet fuel, and jet fuel's expensive. Fuel prices are volatile, and you know, you can have, and as much as we have Petros and all that, we have to be very careful in the sense of how we, you know, because it's a lot of overhead costs running. You know, you've got crew, you've got maintenance, you've got everything that has to do with, and COVID has already shown how it's affected the airline business worldwide. And Malaysia Airlines still trying to recover from it. AirAsia, in spite of them making money in the last year or so, they're still trying to recover from COVID.
I mean, so are you for the idea? Do you feel like it's a necessary infrastructure to have, or do you feel we should do things like maybe subsidize more airlines to come in, or it's not an either or thing?
It's you probably be both. I mean, you know, we're so beholden to the ticket prices. You know, we live on an island. You know, do we want to go back and getting on a cruise ship to go to Klang to get from Kuching to Klang on the ship? I don't mind. I mean, if I'm not in a hurry, you know, hey, I'll be there in a few days. But you know, but yeah, of course we will need to have an airline, but we also want to build the airport, international airport as well. That's, you know, and that takes years to build. It's not like, you know, unless we have really, honestly, a lot of money, we can get people to build it fast. And China, you can get the Chinese contractors come in here and build it very fast. But again, building an airline, we have to lease the aircraft. We definitely have to buy second-hand aircraft. We can't buy the new ones because even AirAsia and Malaysia Airlines waiting for the new aircraft, and it's all been delayed because and now there's the war is going on in the Middle East. The war in Ukraine has affected a lot of what's been going on. So we also we're beholden to the airplane makers unless if you saw the news, there was a China airline aircraft that flew into Kuching a few months ago, and we were looking at it. Unless we go in a different direction and buy aircraft from China,
Airlines, yeah.
which I'm not sure whether they are because we've always been to get the full license to fly around, you need the civil aviation, aircraft aviation license, whatever. What if from the West?
Yeah.
And apparently, planes in China are not certified fully to fly in. That's why you don't see the aircraft flying into Europe or America. Again, it's the East versus West thing.
Yeah.
China has already proven that they can make really good EV cars. So them making planes, I think it's a moot decision already. I think they do have the capabilities, and they even have fighter aircraft. For goodness sake.
I understand your brother's a pilot.
My two brothers are pilots. I have a younger brother who is a captain on Malaysia Airlines. He's been there for almost 2 decades or so. My older brother, who is with Qatar Airways, and he's been there for almost 20 years old.
Any ambitions of flying Sarawak's first airline?
I haven't asked them that, but who knows? It's I'm quite sure that my younger brother has 7 kids, so he's pretty busy, and he's I'm not saying apparently he's a very good pilot. He's flown me twice. I haven't flown my older brother yet, but I've flown with my younger brother. He wouldn't let me on business class once, but that's because he wasn't a captain then. But yeah, I would say my older brother wouldn't mind coming back home, but again, it depends on the conditions. These guys there's a lot of Sri Lankans out there who are paid very well, and it is up to us whether we want to, our government or rather, whether we're willing to pay top dollar for our own people. And I think they should, because it's our people. Why give it to a foreigner when we have, or even a West Malaysian when we have capable Sarawakians?
Back to the domestic tourism thing. I know it's a bit unfair that we're up against a place like Thailand. Like a lot of countries will fall short when we talk about tourism if we line it up against Thailand. But still, looking at like the Malaysian tourism scene, right? I mean, does a destination come to mind, a certain place? Do you have a favorite place to visit? Does it stick out that in the same way, like when we think of I want to go to Bangkok?
Well, we're looking at it from internal, I guess,
Yeah.
as Malaysians, but because we're always looking at Thailand's better than Kuala Lumpur. But I've spoken to a lot of my friends who've come here, and they love the fact Kuala Lumpur for them is such a great metropolitan city because, even though now in Bangkok you can sort of get away speaking English and all that, in Kuala Lumpur you get all that, and right now there's just been resurgence of I wouldn't say again the war has sort of helped us again. Last time we had a lot of when 9/11 happened, we had a lot of Middle Eastern tourists coming into it. That's why that was the start of that, the advent of all the Arab restaurants and all that. And they're now here. It's a bit more international, but it's also now you've got all these, especially in Kuala Lumpur, there's like modern Muslims who come here and go. They want to see the kind of, and this only happens in West Malaysia, by the way. And even the foreigners who come here from England, they love it because the fact that one is the weather, two is that everyone can speak English, and three, our food. Not so much our infrastructure, but there have been people even from America who've gone and seen and comparing, our infrastructure. They're like, we're so modern because they can't believe it. They can't believe the fact that they look at Kuala Lumpur. Because there's always been this story that's been perpetuated that Southeast Asia is dirty. We're very similar to Bangkok. We're a lot more cleaner in terms of how our streets are compared to you've been to Bangkok many times, right? We're a lot more cleaner. You can say it's comparable when it comes to food because it's different food anyway. But I think we're a lot more modern and a lot more less expensive than Singapore. And also a lot more friendlier than a lot of the other Southeast Asian nations, and I dare say, I would say Asian nations, because we're so accessible. We're like a hub. So we don't appreciate it because we see it every day. But as a foreigner, tourism, I think that's why we garner that kind. However, it's what kind of thing are you looking for?
Yeah, but the foreigners aside, I just want to stick to just domestic tourists. I mean, do you feel like one of the criticisms in the article that I wrote is a lot of the offerings it doesn't really cater to people for repeated visits. I mean, there's products that you go and then it's great when you go once, but it's not something you go again and again, and it's not new things that offering. I mean. If you've been to Bako once, would you fly all the way back to go to Bako again? Or maybe we're not so geared towards tourism in the way, obviously, countries like Thailand are, where they have repeated products, new things happening all the time for people to keep coming back. Do you feel that's a fair comment?
I think that's a fair assessment because I think we're almost like going to America. You see one thing and that's it. Like you don't want to go see them because they're not going to be as nice the next time you go and see them. But there are places like, for example, Sunway Lagoon. I wouldn't mind going there like twice, 3 times because you can never get enough of it. Obviously I'm a lot older now, and I used to love going there because wasn't just because of the water slides, but the theme rooms they have at Sunway Hotel. It's amazing. If you've ever been to Sunway Hotel, I don't know what it's like now, and you get all these theme rooms. You got the Arab room, and you go in there and go, oh, this is something different, and you want to come back again to see it. And the hotels, I guess those themed hotels do well. I've never been to Legoland. I've never been to what did I have last time? Just Legoland, wasn't it? I've been to the Hard Rock in Penang. I wasn't impressed with it. I guess it's more for kids. But even they were saying, we don't have to go back there again if they want. And these are kids. If they enjoyed it, they would have wanted to come back. Whereas they're for us, me in those days, we want to go back. I think we used to have those kind of things. Like I used to love going to Mimaland. And that's going back far. And so many things you can do, and I think we're missing those kind of things. Maybe theme parks like Genting was the thing last time. People would want to go every year, not just to gamble, but the kids. But now I think it has a lot to do with the promotion is different now. So I don't know what's going on there, but I don't see people doing repeat travels because. Maybe it's the lack of promotion. Maybe the one thing about Thailand is they know how to promote stuff. They're really good at it. It's like Sabah with diving. people want to go there, even though you've been to Sibadan, God knows, hundreds, millions of times, they still want to go there, but they know how to market it and promote it, especially the locals, because they're really good at it. Maybe that's something that's missing here, where let's go to, like, imagine someone said, let's go Santubong, every trip we go Santubong. So why? No.
I mean, if you have like foreign friends, right, and then if you ever to bring them to Sarawak, right, where will be your go-to places, or like, go-to itinerary?
I wouldn't say go-to itinerary because the friends I have, I don't know you, my foreign friends, they're
Straight
drinkers.
to the pub, is it?
Yeah. No, but it's not just a pub, but it's like different types of tour.
Yeah.
I guess that's a strength that we have. They're like, oh, let me go and try a different type of thing. Like,
You got to do a longhouse run for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that could be something, to promote. It doesn't necessarily need to go export the stuff, but come here, our tour, we have different types of rice wine. That could be a draw. I mean, not without calling people alcoholic or stuff, because you do have different types of flavors of tuat nowadays. Anyway, I do also think that our crocodile stories are not promoted enough. You got Jong's crocodile. I think Jong's. I've been to Jong's crocodile farm. I find it fascinating. But and then we always perpetuate the story about how we got this. Did you see that big croc that was captured?
The skull, right? The one on the news. Yeah.
And I actually reposted the story with the TV series I did where I had to capture the crocodile and all that, real life crocodiles, and I'm fascinated with that. And the fact that we had a delegation going all the way to Australia for crocs and alligators. It's not fun. I mean, I think it's great.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah,
it's a damn good idea. So make the most of what we have, and how do we? And I think Jong's Crocodile Farm, if they market their thing properly, you're going to get a whole lot of tourists coming, because you got to build a story around it. But that's what good tourism is, perpetuate that kind of story, have more documentaries about how crocs were kill people. I know it sounds really bad and all that, but that could be one of our strengths, to bring people another Crocodile Dundee to come in here and do programs. And
I think it's a shame that we can't even see we don't even have tours to see wild crocs,
Yes.
I mean, no, that's a wasted opportunity. But apparently that's one of the things that they talked about when they visited Australia.
And that could help with the river cruises and the boat people, because instead of having to fly, you gotta take the boat, because it's building the stories. I think we're missing now are really good tourist guides. I think we used to have really good tourist guides in the past, and I think the training that goes into them to be able to tell that story, you gotta come here, this is the place where we see this crocodile that happens, and you see the film crew going there. And if the guy is really good at it, and you could literally grow this croc-infested Sarawak tourism industry.
Yeah, I think guides is a good point. I remember when that streamer I Show Speed showed up in KL, and then people were complaining that the guide didn't know much about Malaysia, and then they were asking him what's the biggest state in Malaysia. He said Pahang, which obviously ruffled our feathers. And then
wow, okay, I didn't hear that.
And there were a lot of things that he said was just flat out wrong. So I think guides.
And these tourist guides are certified and trained. I mean, you've got to have your license to be able to be a tourist guide. And here in Sarawak, I mean, there's no one better than the guys at Jong's Crocodile Farm. Come on, and of course the forestry guys. I mean, they're the ones who have to go capture all this and the bomba. I'm sure there's a heck of a lot of stories about crocs everywhere. And you just compile it and turn it into a thing, and build and I don't know what. I mean, I probably need to speak to. I know the owners at Jong's Crocodile Farm. Actually, really nice guy. Part of the Seattle group. It's Sarawak Oh my God, I'm part of that group. Anyway, it's a tourist association, new tourists, and it's really, really cool. So I think, yeah, that probably would be one good avenue for us to be able to explore, because, you know, Crocs is something that's still sort of mysterious, fascinating, because everyone's still scared of them, and we can, you know, utilize that as a tourism attraction into the country. You know, people always love all this like mauling death, anything that's got blood, let's go. You know, that's why safaris, people go for safaris in Africa, right? We've got, you know, you have your lions and giraffe, we got Crocs. You know, boya.
So again, it's like the role of the media, a bit of soft power at play.
Here we go again. It's so important that we, you know, as someone who's worked in, one day I will have a Timor-Leste episode. It's very important that the media plays a part, because it's all propaganda. Propaganda, if you have an informed media that knows what it's doing, you can do all this, and instead of the fluff that comes out from our stations at the moment. Ooh, almost close to saying something, but no. But you know, it's really important that we get the media to play a part. I mean, with our print media, our online media like Borneo Post, the new Sarawak Tribune, you know, all the other guys, Dayak Daily, they're doing a really good job, and I feel that they have their hands on the pulse the whole time. Stuff that are going on. Even Sarawak Edition, which is, you know, very accessible to people. I mean, people who've lost their wallets, I love reading it, because they're like, admin, can you like post this up for me? I've lost my wallet, blah blah blah. And there's been a lot of success stories, because they've just, you know, and it goes to show that Sarawakians are very honest people. You know, well, look at this. They do have this other one, which is a Facebook page of. It's called Mother Parker.
Oh yeah,
I love that. And it's you know, they have the KL one. Is I mean,
it's a big page.
Very big page. But I stumbled upon Mother Parker. I was like, Mother Parker, and it was all about people, you know, obviously parking on yellow. Yeah. And it's awesome to have that, and it's, I guess, you know, but nothing to do with tourism. But but on a domestic tourism side, I think we should promote things like the Crocs, and, you know, apart from the other wildlife, you know, of course, I have my business partner Mona, who's a big bird enthusiast, and she wants to bring a lot more bird tourism into that. I think that could work. I mean, food tourism, you know, I just read, I think it was in the Sarawak public feedback post. I think Edgar Ong put it up. There was like 140,000 different types of rice in the world, and we was wondering how many types of rice we have here. That could be something, you know, food, you know, on an adventure to find out how many types of rice grains we have in Sarawak, because we do have a lot. So but again, KK has the diving, has the sunset, has the beautiful beaches, and we've got to compete against that. You know, we have caves and jungles, and I think we have a heck of a lot of waterfalls. We just haven't been able to coordinate and tell people all about it. And again, getting into it, you know, in Sarawak, people love to hike. There are a lot of trail runs and trail run competitions. So you could turn it into that. So how do you want to skew your tourism? We could, like when I talked about the Borneo Games. By the way, somebody was talking to me about the Borneo Games, and was surprised that we were talking about the Borneo Games before
it came out in the news.
We came out the news, and they were saying that did we think of the idea? Of course, I mean, and I told them, look, the Borneo Games has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I came up with a different idea because that could be a tourism thing.
Yeah.
So, instead of having the normal Borneo games, you can have, so the adventure tourism. So you could even do the croc, sighting games, like abseiling, whitewater rafting, 4x4, mountain biking, stage races, a lot of things, So that could be another tourism angle as well, sports tourism, adventure tourism rather. So we need to focus on, do we want to just do festivals, or do we want to expand and do other stuff as well? The world is pretty much our oyster.
So push come to shove, do you have a favorite Malaysian holiday destination?
I used to love going to Langkawi, because of obviously the beaches are beautiful. Chenang Beach is beautiful. I mean, almost sandy white beaches. Okay, especially if you got the right time. Obviously not during monsoon or rainy season. I've been to once to is it Tanjung Ru in Terengganu or Kelantan? I can't remember which one it was, and that's gorgeous as well. But it's in the East Coast. But if you're going there alone and stuff, it's beautiful. I've also been to, so yeah, Langkawi has always been something I've always enjoyed too. The other states, I mean, apart from Sarawak, Sarawak, it goes without saying, it's like, I don't need to repeat my.
KK?
I like KK, but if I went to the beach and quiet, I'd go to Langkawi.
Okay.
You see, that's the thing. KK is a bit different in the sense of maybe for those. I think because we're East Malaysians, so it's like okay, cool, all right, whatever. I'm not, even though I like going into the jungle and hiking. I'm not the I want to go to Nia Caves. I've never been. If I get to go, I'll go, but I won't go out of my way to go. It's not because I don't want to go. It's just that okay. But if there's the opportunity for me to go one day, and I would go. I wouldn't say no. I'll go through all the jungle hikes and the walking to get there because I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not the adventure seeking going into the
So
you get me on the boat, I don't mind doing it. For me, it's just a normal thing.
So all those destinations that are your favorites, do you feel it's comparable with what we have? Are you happy with the direction that we're going? Tourism?
As long as we strive to improve it, yes. But we're just doing it as a one-off the whole time. I don't think we'll get to where we do. I mean, look, the Rainforest Festival has taken a long time to get to where it was, to where it is rather, and it took them at least 15 years, and then people started coming often. But that's one anchor event. We need a lot more anchor events like that. So we need to work hard to get people to come back and come back and come back and come back. Kuching Waterfront Jazz Festival can do that, but they need to really work out there, I guess. And that's coming up next weekend. But they need to really figure out what kind of audience they want. I mean, jazz is jazz, but what kind of jazz do you want? You know what I mean? Whereas now Rainforest is, Rainforest music. I mean, we had what?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's just a matter of, do we want to be a music festival destination? Because we can't have beaches. We don't have nice beaches. Not much anyway.
Well, you have to go a lot further to get a nicer one. So.
Yeah, you can't go diving because you might hit more oil or crocodiles. You can't do triathlons because we got eaten by crocodiles. I mean, I wanted to do a triathlon. I organized a triathlon once, and like, everyone's looking at me funny. It's like, you crazy? You get into the river, you might not get any of your athletes back. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, it'll be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, for an adventure, for a TV crew, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I guess we've got to really focus on a couple of things, I suppose. I mean, I'm not in the tourism ministry, but you know, that we have a lot to offer, and I think that's also our strength and also our weakness, I guess. That we can offer everything. You know, it's almost like being called jack of all trades in that sense, you know. But yeah. Whereas Langkawi, you know, beaches, hot sun, beautiful.
Yeah. So on that note?
Well, on that note, I guess, you know, that's pretty much that we can talk about in terms of tourism. I mean, you know, I'm happy for all these guys who are going on holiday towards the end of the year. I'm very happy for you guys. You know, I haven't even decided or thought about where to go. I'll probably stay here anyway. I enjoy being at home. But yeah, I'm hoping next week we can talk about something even more. Well, it's something exciting. I'm not gonna tease it, but
you just did kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna be talking about, but I think safely say that I will be able to talk about it next week. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. Until then.
So, thank you for watching us. Don't forget to again subscribe, like. If you have any questions, do send us an email and
or leave a comment.
Yeah, definitely leave a comment or two on our thing because we want to know what you think.
Yeah, abuse is fine as well.
In fact, before it finished, I posted up one about the influencers very famous, and we got a comment from Jody Cole said, what about the freak-off parties? I'm like, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I'll answer that next time.
Yeah.
So, but for now, for myself and Jason, this has been the RSS. Bye-bye.
Right.